please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Welcome back, you're watching Overdrive. Now BMW 6 Series GT will be launched early next year, but before that we sent Shumi to Portugal to sample this car and give us his quick impression on how it feels to drive.
The last time we were here, it was almost the same thing because we're in Cascais in Portugal. We have a white-colored BMW. There's not a lot of sunlight, and it's the same again because there's not a lot of sunlight. We are in Cascais. There's a white BMW. The last time it was the new 5 Series. This car is based on that car. This is the new BMW 6 Series GT. The Gran Turismo is an interesting take on the luxury niche car. It was born as a melding of the best parts of a sedan, a wagon and a couple of other body styles. The idea was to maximize many things: feel, space and utility, for example, without taking away from the sporty or responsive feel of a fast sedan. It's a hard task to be sure. The BMW 5 Series GT, the old one, was the first of its name, as it were. Would you call the old 5 Series GT an elegant looking car? I would call it distinctive, but perhaps not elegant because I think it was just a little too tall at the back. Well, they fixed it with this one because from the B pillar onwards, the roofline slopes down a lot more. It's 6 centimeters less tall at the back, and it looks good because when you see it going down the road, you see it like a good-looking coupe rather than a body style that tries to blend too many things together. It really is good looking, the 6 GT. I really like the grille and headlamp combination up front, the taut skin on the bonnet and the creases and curves on the side body. It looks really smart. The clean roofline that turns the stubby 5 GT into a sleek 4-door coupe in silhouette is a very nice addition to the talents of the new BMW Gran Turismo. Now let's look under the hood. This is a 640i. That's a 3-litre twin-scroll turbocharged straight 6 that makes just under 340 PS and 450 Nm. The 640D gets 320 PS and 680 Nm from its 3-litre 6-cylinder, while the 630D has the same 3-litre diesel, but it makes 265 PS and 620 Nm. And the 630D is what we are likely to get in India. All the models I've mentioned so far get BMW's xDrive all-wheel drive as a standard or option. As you can imagine, a 350-ish PS petrol feels lovely to drive, and the 6 GT has a nice roar that accompanies swift progress. But while this engine isn't coming to India, much of the rest of the car is. And one feature that we will definitely find useful is the standard self-leveling suspension. The 6 Series GT allows you to adjust the ride height, and you can raise it 20 mm from its basic, or it lowers itself, or you can do it manually 10 mm when you're at speeds above 120 kilometers an hour. And I thought, what would you really use it for? And honestly, within moments of starting the shoot, we had to, because when we came here, it's a seaside with a lot of rocks on it, we immediately had to raise the car 20 mm, and if we hadn't raised it, we wouldn't be able to get here. So it's a practical feature that I think will find application back home where the road conditions are dicey, and under 40 kph, you can use a higher ride height to get through difficult terrain. I was also surprised at how comfortable the car is. The 6 Series GT has driving modes, and this particular one has all the optional systems enabled, and that makes quite a difference because when you go from sport mode to comfort mode, the car changes in nature quite a bit. The way the steering response itself changes also. But I do wish that initially I wished that the difference was larger. So when you went to sport mode, I wish that the car had become stiffer. But it doesn't actually do that, and then you realize that it doesn't actually do that for a very good reason, because as a GT, its job is not to be an outright sports car. Its job is to present the idea of a sporty vehicle. That I think BMW's nailed the balance of. What you haven't noticed, of course, is that the car is driving on its own, and I don't really have to do anything. It's steering, it's following the road all on its own. Periodically, I have to put my hands back on the wheel to remind the car that I'm awake and I'm looking where I'm going, I'm monitoring what it's doing, but I don't actually have to do anything. Yes, the 6 Series GT has a semi-autonomous mode that works quite well here. It did have some trouble detecting cyclists on these roads and working out how to get around them, but that aside, it's a very effective system. But we've again drifted into features that won't directly be useful to us in India, right? So let's take a look at something useful, like the rear seat. It's a spacious back seat, but my favorite feature is, well, I get to make a little joke. So my favorite feature are these seats because they are recliner seats. Kleiner in German means a little bit because they recline a little bit. The BMW 6 Series GT will be coming to India next year. We expect the launch to come within the first half of 2018. It promises to be a very nice car and something that should make everyone considering anything from a 5 Series to an E-Class, any car in the segment really, to stop and think about buying a BMW 6 Series GT instead. Because the more I drove it, the more I came to like the blend of space and utility against the sleek silhouette and the sporty but not too sporty nature of this car. Well, that's a nice car. I think BMW have got the balance between it being a usable car, a useful car, it being a car with a slight sporty character, and it being a car that's good on the highway with a lot of space inside. Really nice. Of course, this engine is not coming to India. We'll get the 30D. And honestly, I can't wait to see what this package looks like in our conditions rather than in conditions as pretty as this.